We begin, all of us, as solitary sparks, brief flashes of light linked by the hidden currents of thought. Curiosity pulls us beyond the first thought, launching us back into history and towards thinkers who redefined the limits of possibility, like Pujya Swami Chinmayananji, whose vision bridged tradition and tomorrow. But for him, a single voyage was never enough. He demanded that thinking translate into remaking, and it was that same hunger he embodied, that need to probe further, to iterate, that planted TEDx in our school, a single ember.
Hari Om and a very good morning to one and all. We are the event's hosts and we welcome you to the 9th edition of TEDxCIRS Youth 2026. Before we begin our show, it is tradition here at CIRS to seek the Lord's blessings for a successful event through the lighting of the lamp. I would now like to invite Mr. Ganesh, Mrs. Satish, Brahmachari Sanatan Chaitanya ji, Madam Sharanya and Brahmacharini Bhakti Chaitanya ji to kindly come forward and kindle the lamp.
शुभं करोति कल्याणं आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिर्विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तु ते समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा मृदं गमय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम्.
Thank you, dignitaries, for lighting the lamp. We now invite the school choir for the invocation prayer.
भावन मेरो सतगुरुना गुरु चरणों में चारुना भावन मेरो सतगुरुना गुरु चरणों में चारुना गुरु ने मिटाई विषय वासना गुरु ने मिटाई विषय वासना गुरु ने Thank you, Koya, for the beautiful rendition.
On the TEDx stage, ideas are not merely accepted. They are asked to strip away their complacency and show the work beneath their shine. What began as a flicker becomes ember, ember becomes beacon, and that beacon paves new roads for those who follow. This is beyond the first thought, where ideas are reworked to matter, and where beginnings, nurtured with care and courage, grow luminous enough to change the world.
Today, we have an ensemble of 6 brilliant speakers from all over India. Dear speakers, we are deeply honored to have you here. These visionaries will be our guides as we journey through this beyond the first thought to find out what it means and what it takes to go beyond that first thought. To commemorate the event and welcome our speakers, I request our Madam Principal, Mrs. Rajeshwari, to felicitate the speakers. Firstly, we have Usha Rajagopalan, ma'am, our Lekhika and our Lekhaika. A hearty welcome to you, ma'am. Next, a true leader in his field. Please welcome Mr. Kota Shiva, sir. Next, a true scholar in the medical field. Please put your hands together for Mr. Somu Shivabalan.
Now, I invite Mr. Ganesh for further felicitation. Next up, we have an all-rounder in every field, someone who excels in whatever he does. Dr. Nitan Meta, we extend a hearty welcome to you. Now, we have an artist and mentor, Mr. Aditya Chari, a mind so passionate and a spirit so creative that we cannot even imagine how he creates his art. Thank you, sir, for joining us here. Last, but definitely not the least, we have Ms. Jayshri Mohan, a mountaineer, somebody who is so daring and a passionate, daring warrior. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
Finally, the red dot welcomes its first voice of the day, Lekhika, a writer by choice and a lake conservationist by chance, Srimati Usha Rajagopalan ji, a Bengaluru-based author, translator, and an environmental activist who has spent over a decade nurturing the Puttanhalli Lake back to life.
A winner of the Commonwealth Short Story Competition and a Homi Baba Fellow. Her writing spans crime fictions, literary novels, memoirs, and poetic translations of Mahakavi Subramanya Bharati ji's Tamil verses. She is proof that rooted in one's neighborhood, they can create ripples that go far beyond. Please join us in welcoming Miss Usha Rajagopalan.
This TEDx event is part of a global conversation that takes place every day in every corner of the world. In schools, in theatres, in workplaces, even in prisons, people gather to hear the best ideas bubbling up in their communities. More than 3,000 TEDx events are held every year in 170 countries. It's a remarkable thing. TEDx events are self-organized under a license from TED, a non-profit organization devoted to discovering and sharing powerful ideas in the form of TED Talks. It's not TED itself, but your local TEDx team of volunteers that has done all the work to put on today's event, including booking all of the speakers. It's this team's ideas, dedication, and time that have made this possible. We really hope today's program sparks an exciting conversation. This is a day for curiosity and for skepticism, for inspiration and for action. The more you enter into it, the more you will take out. And now, on with the show.
this human body is a miracle. It's such a remarkable creation. No one can really ever think of doing such a thing unless the Supreme. And how are we using it is a question that each one of us have to ask. But one of the remarkable things that I personally think is absolutely great about being a human being is the thoughts that come to us all the time. Conscious, unconscious, our mind is working, our brain is collecting impulses, getting images, forming connections, and coming out with thoughts. And you know, the best part of thoughts becoming ideas is that you can keep them to yourself. Unless and until you are prepared to share it with others, it is your secret alone. And since you cannot express it out in the open, is what prompted me from not asking anyone about why my two cousins, as a child, they were just a little younger to me, why are my two cousins so different from me? Why do they talk differently? Why is the parents, particularly the mother, always hovering around them? Why are they not playing with us? I couldn't ask anyone because those days, I think children were more to be seen and not heard, actually. And certainly not heard asking very difficult questions like this, because you sense there is something wrong, but you don't want to ask, so you keep quiet. In the process of growing up, I am sorry to say that I also not quite forgot, but they went into the back of my mind. Till one day, I think maybe 30, 40 years later, I happened to be, changing channels on the television, and I happened to see a visual of two children holding hands and walking down a road, and for some strange reason, I was reminded of my cousins. I said, now this, what if the younger one is holding the hand of the older one and taking her forward? Writing, by then I was already writing. Writing, I realized, is actually asking questions and more questions and finding answers and not settling for the first one that comes to your head. But the outcome of all the research that I did was actually this book. It came out in 2004. And by then, I don't want to tell you how old I was, but you can definitely say I was no longer young. And this was a book that came out about what having a special child does to the family. How does society view them? So this was a tribute, my tribute to my cousins who are so different from me, and also more importantly to my mama and mommy. Because finally, while doing all the research, I understood what an extremely difficult life it would have been for them to bring up two children like this, the first two kids like this. And how little we know. We are so complacent in what we are, who we are right now, that we don't really look at or bother to think about others who are lesser fortunate, lesser privileged. This was a lesson to me, and this was my tribute to my cousins and to families like them. There are ever so many. But another thing that my parents did was, like typical of my generation at least, and even now, because the parents want to send their children away for some time, so they send them to dance class, drama class, music class. For my generation, there was sort of a norm to go to a music class, and by extension to kacheris, concerts. I would wait actually for the last part of the concert, not because I was in a hurry to go back home. No, not at all. I enjoyed classical music. But because that was when, that last segment of a kacheri, concert, is where the singer will sing some light songs, okay, which even people like me can understand, because the others were in Telugu and Tamil, and largely in Telugu, which I don't understand. But I can feel the devotion, I can feel the sense. But the last part was more interesting because it was, I hoped that it would be a song by, poem by Subramanya Bharati, set to music and sung by the artist. Because when I was growing up, I was hearing Bharatiya songs everywhere. Films, concerts, even my neighbor was a very good singer. So whenever she came home, I would tell her, hey, please sing this song, no? Very obligingly, she would sing that song and I would become mesmerized. It didn't matter to me who was singing it and how they were singing it, but the Bhardiyar's poetry was so magical and I wanted to understand, why is this poetry so good? Why is it casting a spell on me? But the hitch here was, I studied in an English medium school. And though we speak Tamil at home, I never learnt the script. And literary Tamil, you can imagine, is very, very different from the colloquial Tamil that we were speaking. So when I was about, I think I was about 9 or 10 years old, I decided I am going to translate Bhardiyar's poetry to English for me to understand. The reason was because my sister, elder sister, who studied in a Tamil medium school, whenever I would go to her and say, hey, what does this word mean? If she was in a good frame of mind, she will tell me the meaning. One day she told me, look, if you are so fanatic about Bhardiyar, go and learn Tamil yourself and don't bug me like this. So I said, okay, I will learn Tamil. So after my MA, which I did in English language and literature, I opted for a language paper. I could have done Hindi because I had studied Hindi for so many years, but I opted to learn Tamil because I wanted to learn the script and I wanted to translate Bhardiyar's poetry. I took a long time, putting the letters together, understanding the meaning, and then by then I'd come to Bangalore and I was extremely fortunate to come across a neighbor of mine, Sri Krishnan, who incidentally studied in PSG here in Coimbatore, and he was working in MNC and he nurtured ambitions of becoming a Tamil writer. I got the right person because we would sit for hours and he would explain everything to me, and I ended up bringing out 2 books on Bhardiyar. Again, I will not tell you how many years it took. But 2 books, they both came out in 2012, one in June and one in December that year. And I'm particularly proud that this Panchali's Pledge was released at the Bhardiyar Illam in Chennai during the Bharati festival. When I was working on this book though, I had another project which was bugging me and I was trying to get rid of it. Because when I shifted to Bangalore, what actually I could see was this. You can know what it is from the little pools of water. This is a lake, and this was what I saw. I tried to ignore it. I tried really hard to ignore it, but it was going from bad to worse. So in 2008, I mooted a campaign to get the municipality, the BBMP, to rejuvenate the lake. They did it. From this, but we realized, by then I had formed a team, and we realized that pro-rejuvenation maintenance was very, very important. So I co-founded a team. This is my team. And just the 5, 6 of us working together was not enough, because you can imagine taking care of a lake. It's a public space, open to everybody, so we involve the community. We involve corporate employees, volunteers, everybody you can think of. And we transformed a clean and dry lake into a living habitat, into this. And right now, I think when I look back, this was the best thought, which I rejected so much, so hard, and this was the best thing that I have done to date. Because I still have a long way to go. This lake is not finished yet. We now have sighted about 124 birds at the lake. They are not all at one time, so don't think you can come there and see all 124. They include the local migratory, the seasonal migratory, 51 species of butterflies, 25 dragonflies, 25 spiders, scarabs, mollusks, snails, snakes. You have, name it, wildlife is there in the neighborhood for us. But this, as I said, is not the end for us. We still have a long way to go, and this is a Google image of the lake. And the beautiful part that you see, which is greenery, a dream, is what now I'm working towards, because right now it is an encroached area, it is a slum. We have been trying to get them rehabilitated, so I'm giving myself another 2 years to achieve this dream, because through this lake, Bangalore is very blessed with having lots of lakes still, but through this lake I want to show, my friends and I want to show what is possible when the community gets together and work for a common cause, and lake is a very, very invaluable common cause. With that, I'm giving myself 2 years, because I have many other thoughts which I need to turn to goals, and really time is running short. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. You have shown us that true passion has no single form. Your journey as a writer, translator, and the guardian of the Putanhalli Lake stands testament to what persistent dedication can achieve. We are very much honored to have you with us today, ma'am.
Our next speaker, Shri Kota Shiva is a highly experienced HR strategist, cooperative trainer, and leadership coach. But above all of that, he has dedicated his life into shaping young minds. Shri Kota Shivaji's work blends human behavior with ethical framework, resulting in stellar organization performances.
Like our own school, he rebuilds institutions along with resolute value systems and constructs organizational cultures that work in perfect harmony, bringing in a unique yet necessary approach in strengthening businesses.
But his expertise doesn't end here. For today, he will lead us further in our journey, pushing us all to go beyond the first thought. Please welcome Sir as he takes the spotlight.
Good morning to all. This is a moment of a little bit of confession for me. There were moments in my life when I did not agree with someone, ended up in a little bit of a disturbance, being upset, conflict situation, you can say. There were times when I ended up sending messages which I regretted later. And there were times when I probably ended up being in situations and places which I regretted later. Now, I also get a feeling, I guess, I'm not alone in this. We all here have come through situations in our lives where we interact with people on a daily basis and we come to this point. My question to you, have you ever said something and immediately wished you hadn't? Now the situation could be something like your own class situation. I would like to probably recall a few situations from your own life, but I would like to bring to your memory here maybe something with a friend, a close friend in your class, or someone you felt was hurting you, saying something that you didn't really want to hear that morning, and so on. We all go through it, right? It was a regular Monday way back in my career. I was sitting with one of my members. We both were leaders of the CX team. And it was a general conversation, slightly different from an everyday conversation in the sense that I could feel the tension growing up minute after minute, little by little. There was a particular conversation that we were doing about a resource that was working common for both our departments. And something that I didn't agree with the way he was taking a stand, and then he wasn't agreeing with what I was saying. And believe me, as the tension was growing up, I've seen myself very shortly do something. Something happened to me, some change happened to me, and you know what I did next? I shouted. And within no time, I understood that it was very unprofessional. The situation was getting from worse to bad, bad to worse. And I walked out of the room. Of course, that day was different from other days for me. I couldn't really handle any task the whole day. I was going about, but it was just mechanical. It was just bothering. It was going on in my mind. That evening, I went back to his cabin, and I looked at him and I said, "I'm sorry, I apologize." And I felt that he was waiting for that moment too. And he said, "I'm sorry too." I went a little step ahead and I said, "I shouldn't have shouted." And he said, "Me too, I shouldn't have shouted." So that was good, everything ends well, fine. But how familiar is this for you people? Did you end up in a situation where you probably said something? It might not be a corporate situation. It could be at your home, maybe with your parents, maybe with a friend. Usually we tend to shout where we feel very passionate about something. There is something at stake as a common topic, right? And this was a defining moment for me because that day I learned something which I wanted to hand it back to you today. My learning was that we might feel something, but it's not about what we feel strongly. What matters is what we do. I repeat, we might feel very strongly, and that's true to that extent, to that moment, but what we do later matters quite a bit. So that was the learning. Years later, of course, I had similar situations I went through. I was conscious of what I resolved upon, and then I was more careful. Again, a few things happened. I wanted to share with you something that was a semi kind of success for me. But before that, I wanted to just again remind you that your first reaction that comes up is not necessarily your final word. Please keep that in mind. Your first reaction that comes up, and it comes up for all of us, it need not be your final word. You always have a second chance. Okay? If you waited a little. We'll talk about that choice. But now coming back to the next event that happened many years later, I was into my consulting. It was an international client. We were delivering something for them. We had done some good job with them. And this particular situation, I found the client to be a little particular about everything. Particularly, they sent out a mail about one of our works that we did, which I thought went well. And the person was very picky, super critical about everything that went. So that really frustrated me, if I can say that. It really was, I was upset. And then I started drafting a mail. Because I had all sorts of evidence to show that that was not the truth. Whatever he was saying was not the truth. Okay, so I started drafting the mail. And it went on and on and on. But over the years, I picked up something. I picked up the power of what I call pause. So what I did is, I wrote the entire mail. I got up. I walked away, picked up a cup of tea. And meanwhile, one of my friends was walking by, sat with my friend for a while, talked about here, and interestingly got into something else. And it took an hour for me to come back to my screen. And after an hour, I had a review. You know, the word review always meant something magical for me. It really is a review. I looked at my mail. Maybe from the perspective of that client who would have received that mail from me. And when I looked at the mail, I felt that quite a few words were quite sharp and objectionable to myself. Unprofessional, if I can use the word. So I just sat for 5 minutes, removed all those words, and now re-looked at the whole thing, and I found that to be super agreeable, very calm, composed, yet giving a constructive feedback about what I wanted to say. Believe me, this really worked for me, and I'll tell you how it helped many others who I shared the secret with. But I did use a technique here which I wanted to check with each one of you. How many of you find this familiar? Maybe while you are using your mobile phone, or while sending out a mail, any of your gadgets, etc. Do people find this familiar? Yes. So this is the situation we are commonly falling into in this modern era of things where you can send out anything very fast, but your regret starts even before the message reaches the receiver. It is just amazing how this thing comes up. And while you are in the midst of so many pressures of delivering something, this or that, this becomes all the more meaningful. So I'm going to hand over to you a technique that could really help each of us to reduce that feeling, that sinking feeling in the stomach. And I'm going to give it to you in 4 steps. Whenever you feel like writing a mail, I'm restricting it to a message, a mail, but you could apply it to other things too in general. Draft it, and try to give a pause. Go walk, take a walk, come back, read again, and then send if you find it agreeable. Now, when I shared this with a few of my friends, people told me that they benefited a lot, and some of them said they saved their jobs. Because the pressure of the job probably made them resign last evening. And this morning they come back and then they say that, no, I don't want to resign. How many times somebody might end up sending a resignation and then just have to follow through with that just because they did it? So strange, right? So it helps to pause. I might be talking, friends, about very small, trivial situations, but that's where I think is our freedom to choose. So let me just bring you to a little bit of concept here, which I understood from learned speakers. We all have something called amygdala in our brains, which is a threat detecting system. Whenever we perceive a threat, either real or even perceived threat, either of them, this first reacts. And it puts you on a reactive mode. The strangest thing is that it happens much before your rational mind kicks in. And that can be dangerous, believe me, at times. It does happen on a regular basis to us, but some situations can really be the spoilers when it comes to understanding, if this is constantly happening. Why are we so helpless about it? When this amygdala fires, how is it that our thinking gets hijacked? Is the whole question that we can ask. Are we helpless? Is this the way it is going to be? Somebody just passes by me in my class and then says something, looks at me in a particular way and says something, which I perceive that to be very insulting. And then rest of my day goes for a toss. Am I a helpless being in doing this? This is the question that I started battling with. And I understood something that, this is from Viktor Frankl, the great psychiatrist, who was in the Nazi concentration camps. He lost everything. They said he lost everything. His freedom, of course, his manuscripts, his family, everything he lost. But then he started observing human behavior. Very strange. I do not know how many of us can do that. Being a captive, being in concentration camps and observe human behavior. That's what he did. And then he gave out a great statement. And I want to quote that. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. Between stimulus, that is what happens to me, response, and what I do about it. Between these two, there's a space. And in that space lies our power. Now, believe me, friends, that space could be sometimes in terms of time, milliseconds. But it does exist. This space is a reality. And we all know that from our experience. Whether we have lived, whatever might be the number of years we have lived for, we know it's a reality that that space exists. But in order to exercise that power, easily exercising the best muscle in our system, can you believe this? The best muscle we can exercise is the power to choose. All great people have attained certain greatness because they have exercised this power to choose, I guess. So in this space, can we exercise that power to choose? That was my question. Let me come back to very recent times, an incident that happened pretty recently. You see my gray hair. So I prefer to travel in the reserved coaches in Hyderabad Metro, which are reserved for senior citizens. So one of those days recently, it was a working day morning. The metro was jam-packed and a lot of travelers. It was going towards a downtown kind of area where a lot of IT offices and all of. So there are a lot of youngsters in that train. I got in and I went and stood near that. This was already jam-packed. The reserved seats for the senior citizens were all already taken by junior citizens. Understandably, I'm not really trying to judge because that was not usually a time where the senior citizens would usually travel. But I was there and I went and I wanted to give a cue to the person who was sitting in front of me. So I just went and stood in front of one of the persons. And the person, I was just observing, the boy, if you can use the word, slightly looked up at me but tried as if he did not look at me. And he was busy with the screen and he avoided my gaze. So I just stood there. Few seconds, somebody 2 steps away, 2 paces away, another boy looked at me and there was a little hesitation in him, I could feel that. And after some time he got up and he had shown the seat to me and said that you can come and sit here, sir. I did not go there immediately though. And all the while, believe me, it was looping, the announcement was looping in the train in 2 languages, saying that the seats reserved for the women and senior citizens are better given to them. That was going on. I don't know who listens. I don't know who was listening to that. But at least that was evident. And I stood there and I requested this boy, would you mind moving? Would you mind moving because I prefer this seat near the door? Of course, a little reluctantly, he looked at that seat first and then it was like, you can also sit there. And somebody like him, his age, did that act of actually getting up. And then later, of course, he moved a little reluctantly and I sat there. Now, this brought up a series of thoughts in me. As I sat there in the train for the rest of my journey, I was actually typing out something in the LinkedIn and I got many comments for this particular posting that I've done, saying that they have gone through something similar. Something I want to bring up today and then offer to you. Where is this aspect of self-awareness to be really exercised? That pause. Is it in corporate jobs? Is it in our families? Or is it also in the society today? I would say that all of you are growing up in a society where this becomes more important and mandatory, not optional anymore. If we become indifferent to things around us, if we don't even look at things that are happening around us, and if we become indifferent to the people, their needs, it's going to be a big tragedy, I'll tell you. And none of you, I'm sure, want to go into that society where the indifference itself might result in even aggression. When people might become righteous, self-righteous in the way they claim that this is the way to be, and then they can become aggressive. So if you and I want to build a real conscious society for ourselves, for our betterment, for better happiness and then harmony of everything around here, we need to exercise this small pause in what we do today, is what I feel. And the choice is very, very simple. We have discussed about it, but just for me to summarize very quickly, we have discussed about corporate boardrooms where a shouting match can also be won by exercising this pause. We have seen how the emails and then the messages that we send by giving a little gap and pause can be conquered, and then you can save a day, a relationship, and then continue to be, which can be trusting in future too. And then you can exercise in the social context of we exercising better responsibility in terms of what we do. And I'm sure what I have perceived from yesterday in this institution, the kind of conscience that students exhibit, we need more and more of people like that in the society to make this a much more harmonious society. And I just rest my case by putting in front of you that this power in between the stimulus and response, it's within our hands in whatever we do. Let's exercise that muscle. Let's build it more and more so that we all are happy. Thanks so much for your patience.
Kota Shivaji concludes his address today. We would like to sincerely express our gratitude towards him. Thank you, sir, for making us go way beyond the first thought.
Now, we all know a common beauty of human nature. There's only so long a person can sit and listen before the mind begins to wander. Rather than filling that silence with words, our students have chosen to speak in a language far more powerful than any of yours, the language of silence itself. So we invite you to look beyond those words, to find deeper meanings in every gesture. Let us welcome our theatrical team for their performance to show the relationship between a director and an actor. Thank you.
Action!
Let us all give our performers the applause they truly deserve. Now, as that appreciation fades, we would like to invite you to carry that same sense of wonder into what comes next. Now, I have the pleasure of inviting one of the most extraordinary people we have ever come across. Hailing from Chennai, Dr. Somu Shivabalan comes armed with a rich experience of over 2 decades in pediatric pulmonology, over 60 research publications, and multiple international research fellowships.
The Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Scientist Awardee brings fresh perspectives and profound ideas to today's event. Despite his phenomenal resume, Sir exudes humility and empathy, guiding all of his actions with a service-oriented mindset. So let us all sit back and let the academic maestro lead us into a journey of exploring, pondering, and going beyond the first thought.
Most of us spend a lot of our time thinking about our future. Dream career, reputation, happiness, wealth, isn't it? Now let's begin with a small exercise. All of you, for the next few seconds, just close your eyes. Imagine yourself, your future, in the next few years from now. Don't doze off. The talk is yet to begin. Great. Most of you would have imagined instant success of whatever goal you're aiming for, right? So I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not a lifestyle guru. I'm an ordinary person like you, still learning and unlearning how to navigate through the hurdles of life, right? So while all of you went into the fast forward mode, I silently pressed my rewind button and went to a stage where I was exactly like you sitting there as a +2 student. Let me tell you a story, way back, a Kuti story, way back in 1989, where I was a schoolboy in my simple protected environment. All my thoughts were study well, score marks, enter the medical college. That's it. Nothing more, nothing else. Of course, I did. Studied well, scored marks. It was 225 for 250. The cutoff was 225.25. Boom. I missed it. I almost joined engineering college. Then by the change of fate or something else, I happened to join a management quota in a private medical college in Kolar, Karnataka. Those days, joining a management quota carried a lot of stigma. People used to ridicule, saying that they bought their degrees. So that was one. Then I entered the college, new set of people, language was different, first time away from home, ragging was happening. I was clueless, just whiling away. My aim then was, I have somehow entered the medical college, now better finish it somehow and get out of this place. No motivation, no direction. Somehow doesn't take you anywhere. So what happened? The first internal assessment happened. Big books, 3 subjects. The results came, as expected, failed. Not in one, all 3. And in the seminar hall, Mr. Kuti, Dr. Kuti, nice gentleman, generous soul, good teacher. He was handing over our biochemistry paper. So it was in front of the seminar hall. 132 was our class strength, more than the people assembled here. Then I went to collect. He gave me looked at me, and you said, "You are like a cat on the wall. If you fall this side, you fail. But if you fall the other side," and he passed. The whole class shouted, "Pass." He raised his hand and said, "No, still he'll fail miserably because my mark was in single digit." Right? That was a huge humiliation. The whole class bursted in laughter. I didn't know what to do. I was hardly 18, 19. I was literally in tears. So came back home, came back to my room, literally crying. Then I thought I should discontinue and go back to my home. This is not my cup of tea. Then that humiliation became a spark. That spark was not to prove myself at that particular point in time. It was to prove Dr. Kuti wrong. So I reorganized myself, sought help from my seniors, of course from Dr. Kuti, then formulated how to study. Then I studied well, reasonably well, and scored distinction in biochemistry, in the same biochemistry. Only 3 of us took biochemistry, scored distinction in biochemistry, and one was me. And later, I finished, got a gold medal in ophthalmology in the final year, then finished my MBBS. So it stops here. Put a pause button and then reflect what has happened. Here, many things I learned. Success is not straightforward, and any journey can start with a setback, right? So these are the things I learned, and push the fast forward button. 2022, 30 years after that, I go back to the same college as to receive the Distinguished Alumnus Award. And to my surprise, Professor Kuti is the principal now. I told him thanks for being a motivator, which of course he didn't remember. He might be seeing many other students. We both had a hearty laugh. So more than as I said before, the humiliation can be a real motivation, and the greatest spark comes from failure. So don't take failures lightly, and don't wish away that also. And always try to get out of your fear and hesitation. If you are scared that you can't do it, you will never do it. And you have to come out of your comfort zone. The comfort zone kills you in luxury. And life is a continuous journey. Imagine I wanted to join medical college, which I did. Then I wanted to pass and get out, still I did. Is that the goal? No. Any goal achieved becomes a continuous journey. It is a milestone for the next, and your goalpost keeps changing, and you have to move towards that, and that's how life is. You cannot be complacent on your old past glory. If I keep saying I secured distinction, I got my gold medal, you might be wondering, oh, so what? You are nowhere here. So we have to move forward and beyond. After we achieve certain things, have it as your credential, but don't harp on your credentials alone. And after that, I became a medical man, started practicing, and medicine is a science of uncertainty and an art of probability. Of course, life is also the same. So nothing can be taken for granted. Nothing is 100% either in medicine nor in life. And medicine had taught me a lot of things. People always say, big is strong, big is mighty. Yes, of course, but not always. Because in medicine, the size doesn't matter your impact. The small bug can stop the whole world. You all would have understood what I mean. And a small pill can cure a dreaded disease, irrespective of who you are and what you are. It can be the Prime Minister or the President or a beggar. Everybody it treats the same way. And we all know the importance of timing. Time, but not timing. Timing is knowing when to do and when not to do. In medicine, there is something called a golden hour. Right things done at the right time, the outcome is better, be it stroke or be it heart attack. So we should know when to act and how to act. And it also taught me when not to act. Certain diseases are self-healing. Say, for example, most of you will come with cold, cough, and fever. Of course, you all would have gone through. And this looks simple. And behind this cold, cough, fever, there are 1,000 possibilities. It can be a simple cold cough like a common flu, or it can lead on to something else which is catastrophic for both the doctors and the patient themselves. So, most of the time, simple things we wait as making them to heal themselves. So that is important. So we need not react always. We need to respond to the situation. That is more important. And always expect the unexpected. Day in and day out, we use routine medicines, including paracetamol and stuffs like that. But sometimes even a common vaccine or a common drug can cause catastrophic side effects which we don't expect to see. And it can be a life-turning event too. And setbacks are not always permanent, meaning when we treat, we always expect them to recover well, recover soon. But what happens is, sometimes they end up in complications, or they can deteriorate, or sometimes even to the extent of cardiac failure, arrest we mean. So there we don't back off immediately. We put in our hardcore effort to revive them, and most of the time, recovery is possible. Setbacks are not failures unless you concede and you show up your hand. So that we have to understand. And the outcomes always vary. You all know the COVID situation, similar scenario, similar intervention, and the outcomes vary. One is good, one is bad, one in ICU, one in the grave. So the outcomes vary. In life also, similar actions of yours might not yield the same results always. And with regards to success, despite your genuine and best effort, success is not guaranteed. Treating patients, we expect them to come out clean, like a textbook description, but it doesn't always happen. So failures are acceptable, provided it is not because of your fault, and it is not because of your effort found wanting. If that is so, learn from the journey if there is anything to be taught, and then move forward graciously. Don't keep harping around on that. And importance of people around. What happens is, we ask a lot of cross-references, opinions, and for teamwork. It doesn't mean we are incompetent. We take their expertise and experience also. So that is more important, because we need to know when to get help and when to seek guidance. So these things are important. And medicine is fast evolving. Each one, new modalities, new drugs, new intervention, new therapeutics. And if you are not updating yourself, you are totally outdated. You are totally out and gone. The life also is the same. Either get outdated, updated, or you are outdated. So that you have to have it in mind. And recently, from the cruise ship, there is a hantavirus. Who knows, in future, from the canteen, there can be some fantavirus also. So these things we have to keep our eyes open. Not only genetics, we all know about genes and genetics. There is something called epigenetics. Epigenetics, what we say is, the environment modifies your expression of your own genes. That is called epigenetics. You are the same, but the expression differs because of your environment. So environment does matter. It is not only the people, the conversation you go through, and also the environment you live in indirectly, including a beautiful school like this. It indirectly influences your outlook of things. So that is important. And real heroes are not celebrities, right? And they are not your superheroes like your Batman, Superman, or Spider-Man. They can be right beside you, who really inspire you and take you a long way through your life. I'll give you a simple example which happened during my internship. It was in 1994. During my internship, our college, they built a new auditorium, capacity of 500. They wanted to have an inaugural CME. And I was picked of 4 candidates to give a lecture on that. So I prepared well, went with confidence. The moment I opened the screen and saw 500 people sitting there, I was shocked. Never had seen so many people in front. I, without even a thought, went to my professor Narayan Sami and told that, sir, I can't do it. He, with a stern face and a husky voice, told me, looked at me and said, idiot, get lost. That's it. The whole people around were stunned. That snapped me back to reality. And of course, I didn't know what to do. I expected a bit of comfort, cajoling, and encouragement and saying, oh boy, you can do it. But he didn't do that. I was shocked, shell-shocked, and stood just there. And slowly he held my hand and he walked me through and he said, Siva, you have prepared the best today. You know better than me today. And people there are fools. They don't know anything. Go there and talk with confidence. So after this pep talk, I really thought what he said was true. I thought all are fools and only I know about that subject. And my confidence skyrocketed. I was not only confident, I was super confident, overconfident. And by the time I was about to leave, he pat my back and said, "Remember, Siva, fools are difficult to convince. Be careful, don't take them for granted." And he pushed me aside. I was confused whether to be confident or not confident. That stays with me even today. Be confident and never to be overconfident, and don't take anybody for granted, whoever it is. And to compete with others, you have to compete with yourselves. Get prepared of yourself even before thinking of competing with others. This was me in 2016, 45, happy, healthy, chubby. And I wanted to start running after seeing my friend Partha, who is much younger in age. He finished his 10K. That was an inspiration. I was not competing with him. I wanted to do something like that. Then, when I started running, people said, "Look at you, you can't do it. Your knees will conk, then you'll be on a wheelchair." Initially, I believed. I didn't want to do. Then what happened, all of a sudden, few months later, one flyer I saw somewhere where it was written 100 days to go for some marathon. By a flick of a thought, I registered even without telling people. 100 days, I wanted to do it. And the same day I got my boots. Next day I was in the park running. After 3 rounds, I was huffing and puffing. I really thought it is not going to be possible, and buying a shoe doesn't worth it. So I went to Partha the same night and I told him, "Partha, this is what I want, but I don't think so." He was quite a cool guy. He's a pro now. And he said the do's and don'ts, and also told the importance of stretching and relaxing, and also the importance of sleep. Everything he said. Also, he gave me an action plan. So I slowly but steadily, I improved. In 100 days, I did my first 10K. The timing was not great, but I ran non-stop. So I was happy about it. So I'm happy with myself first. And there are 2 things I learned. Here it is smart work and not hard work. People say practice brings perfection. If I would have believed that and started running, I would have got myself hurt and burnt out and exhausted. So to practice, you should know how to practice and what to practice. That is smart work. And it is not the hard work that really matters, which we all think which does. So that is important. The other thing was, Partha, with all good intentions, he gave me a workout plan. But that was good for him, not for me. So I have to modify that and adapt to it. So good things, when things come by, you evolve by either adapting or adopting. If you can't adapt to your requirement and go forward. So in 2 years' time, in 2019, I did my 21K also. Beyond that, I didn't stretch myself. Even now, I do it regularly. So these are my experiences. So here, you have to evolve. The real growth comes with evolution by adaptation or adoption. So that here I didn't compete with anybody. I didn't compete with Partha. I competed with myself. That is the first realization of your growth and success. And let me end with this something simple. Our environment, our exposure and our experience also silently influences our thinking and our action, even without our knowledge of what we are going through. So that is important. Each day, thousands of thoughts comes in. They are like a passing cloud. Most of them are emotional, reactive, transient. They don't see the light of the day. Only certain things which gets processed go beyond, shapes your future. And for that, you need to process and proceed them with purpose, focus, and clarity. So always keep your eyes and ears open. The universe is there for you to teach, and you have to absorb and imbibe all what you go through. And be ready to listen, be ready to see, be ready to learn, be ready to adapt, be ready to evolve. And if there is going to be a failure, fall down, not a problem. Get up, reboot, and restart. So that is important. So these are the things what I have gone through and what I have understood so far, I can tell you right now. And remember, your first thought never shapes your future. It is what you go through and what happens beyond that does. So choose them wisely. Thank you.
Truly incredible. Thank you, sir, for your eye-opening speech. Your wisdom reached way beyond just the clinic, and it taught us something new. Now, we would like to invite the next speaker. Continue.
We hope we've energized your minds. Now, to energize your bodies, we've arranged juice and snacks just outside, and we request everyone to step out, take a break, and refresh yourselves for the following events. And all the students are requested to head to the school block for your juice break, and the remaining TEDx participants will have it here. Thank you.
Check, check.
Check, check, check. Check.
Check. Check, check.
Check, check, check.
Music has a way of saying things words simply can't match. It builds energy, brings people together, and turns a stage into something alive.
Among the songs you'll hear today, the first one is especially meaningful. It is an original composition written and created by our own students. It is a celebration of creativity, innovation, and the immense talent within our student community.
So now we have a performance that does exactly that, bringing rhythm and a spectacular presence to the stage. Our school band is here to fill the room with music that will move us all. So please join me in welcoming the CIRS School Band.
Check. Check.
Check.
Check.
Have a snowstorm in my head, I almost feel afraid as it passes me by before I truly awake. I'm going with the flow that is taking me along. I'm a blank sheet, I have no song. I've got a devil on my shoulder, angel on the other, giving me a hand in the words I utter, pulling me closer, acting as an they bring me back when my mind goes a flutter, mind goes a flutter, mind goes a flutter, mind goes. I thought my mind was mine, a kingdom I control, till a question cracked the walls and echoed through my soul. Question after question, they all came forth. All it took was one to start a downpour. Where would it have gone? This miracle might have lied. Where would it have gone if I said it for you to fly? Where would it have gone? Not knowing where it leads. Reckon my mind goes turn. If I give him what it needs, I've got a devil on my shoulder, angel on the other. They don't have a say in the words I utter. I'm shaking them off. I stand unanchored. I'm feeling my mind go. Wandering a flutter, wandering a flutter, wandering unanchored.
Check.
Check. Check. Check. I was 6 years old, I broke my leg. I was running from my brother and his friends. Tasted the sweet perfume of the mountain grass that rolled down. I was younger then. Take me back to when I found my heart and broke it here. Made friends and lost them through the years. I've not seen the rolling fields in so long. I know I've grown, and I can't wait to go home. And I'm on my way. I still remember these old country lanes. We did not know the answer, and I missed the way you made me feel. It's real. We watched the sunset over the castle on the hill. सोचा है, ये तूने क्या कभी सोचा है, ये है ये क्या सभी सोचा है, सोचा नहीं तो सोचो अभी. There's a place in your heart, and I know that it is love. And this place could be brighter than tomorrow. And if you really try, you'll find there's no need to cry. In this place, believe there's no hurt or sorrow. There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place. Heal the world, make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me, for you and for me, for you and for me.
What an incredible performance. Let's give our school band another round of applause. Now, this performance has taught us that mastery takes dedication, and our next speaker knows a thing or two about that.
Next up on stage, we have a true polymath, an advanced mountaineer, an IT professional who holds a doctorate in psychometric testing and with experience of over 30 years, and even a Toastmasters DTM holder. Sir dons many hats.
In fact, many of Sir's mentees have qualified for the International Speech Contest finals held in the United States. Dr. Nitan Meta's journey is defined by his sheer excellence, tenacious hard work, and constant guidance. Today, he shall ignite the realization of yourself in you. Sir, the stage is all yours.
Good morning, everybody. I'm here to explain how one can be yourself. You are enough for you. I'll take you through my journey of 30 plus years, how I have been and how I can relate to, for all of you to learn from that. Way back in 2017, I was at Chengdu Airport in China. 230 passengers, Boeing 747 going to Hong Kong, and I have a connecting flight to Bangalore. 230 people on only 2 resources to onboard us with our luggage. Imagine situation at Chengdu Airport. People are thinking, what are we going to do? What if my luggage doesn't get into right place? I felt my luggage will be left behind, or I'll go to Singapore. Or what will happen? I will be the citizen of Singapore if I get stranded in. All that. When such situations come, we forget ourselves. What I found, all the 230 passengers jumping on each other like a small child to get onboarded. Not only that, at the boarding gates, they are waiting like small kids. Where is the aircraft? Where do I go? Imagine. But what happened? Smooth transfer. Nothing happens. Life is as usual as it is. We reach our destination. I go to Hong Kong. My luggage is there. I'm back in Bangalore. You see how we create a situation when it has not to be. This is our mind. So I'm talking to you about each one's mindset we go through in situations. Similar situation in New York, my connecting flight to Munich and then to Bangalore. Same thing, same situation. Only people change, color of the people change, people are taller, people are more Chinese, people are German, but Indians, but all of us are same. What happens? We panic. What if I miss the flight? Relax. I myself am wondering, what is this happening within me? We tend to forget what are we doing when we have to be ourselves. Experience of 2017, now in New York, bit relaxed, bit of travel. Next, I am in Krakow, in Poland. First time, solo. That's where I realize that I am myself. I'm not infatuating to my friends, colleagues, relatives, and I'm not showing off. So I'm myself. My first travel to Poland, and I'm in Krakow. Cold place, not seen the place. I've done whatever exercise to check up how Poland will be. And imagine I have to set up an office for an MNC. Imagine I have to meet people like you in engineering colleges, and I am here in Krakow with all the AI with me to support me how I will perform, whether I'll be able to do myself better. But the same thing happened. Infatuation, worries, thinking. When we have this situation, my senior colleague spoke today about it. We have the situation, we forget ourselves. What we need to do. Keep the mindset together. What we need to perform. I was walking, I was at the tram station, and somebody looked at me and laughed. The eyes met. He realized, and he said, "First time to Krakow?" I said, "Yes." That comfort which I was looking at, I got it. So I got my confidence back. So what happens? We time and again get into a situation looking for confidence, not realizing it's all within you, with you. But we're looking for situations, and that's where we go here and there. Been with so many companies, right from Dell, Perot Systems, Wipro, Lucent, IBM, L&T, my last, where I retired. When I wrote this, it was 51. Today I've done 52 countries in the world. But same situations everywhere. Everybody is looking for comfort outside. Imagine if I close my eyes and I don't think anyone is around. That is myself. That is what I want to inform and explain, that everything is within you. It's up to you who have to explore ourselves to perform. Perform as per expectations of yours, that is cardinal. At the same time, perform as per the requirement of the industry where you are meant for that position. So, life goes by, and being solo across, name the neighboring countries, right in Dhaka or in Lahore or in Colombo, same situations, same thing happens. But what inspired me with my own experiences, we have a mountaineer among ourselves, she's going to speak, but mountains also give you that confidence within you to be yourself. It invites you to come over and give you that inspiration and give you that thought, that you yourself are yourself, and perform as per your own thoughts. And believe me, if I perform 200%, supposed to be, I am at some stage at 150. And when I go look back, Sir Kota said about it, when you go look back and you realize, I could have much done better. So, life is expectations, unexpected things which keep on coming. New terrain, new activities. When you climb mountains, I've done up to 25,000 feet in the Himalayas. But people have gone through that routes earlier. But terrain changes. What it helps you to innovate yourself in you. How much ever experience you have had does not matter. Every day is a new day. Even if you fall, there's a learning. Even if you don't fall, there's a better learning. My thought is to grow to a level where I can do my best in my journey. And that is what I feel we should learn from in situations where you are supposed to take over a situation where people are not able to take over. Okay? That's where you need to have your confidence. And how do you build that? Unless until you close your eyes, think that you are alone and perform. And that needs a lot of thought. At the same time, you have to negotiate with yourself. You are not negotiating with anybody. Absolutely. Everything is in myself, and I realize that I am looking for comfort with my friends, my family, and my colleagues. That is where we need to learn. With gratitude, what I would request myself to be the best among all, provided I am able to perform. And that performance is nothing but living to the expectations. Thank you. Thank you.
Check. Sir is truly a Toastmaster mentor. What a spectacular talk. You've given us impactful yet grounded words, sir. Thank you very much. I'm sure your minds are all churning. Maybe perhaps even overflowing with ideas.
So let's take a breather. We've heard many powerful words today, but some things cannot be expressed by language alone. And now what you're about to witness is just one of them. Eyes on the stage.
Ta jum num ta rum ta dhalam ko tak ta ko da da gira 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 ta jum ta ka jum jum ta ta kita ta da ta jum gira gira jum ta ta num ta rum ta kita ta da gira 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 ta ta ri ta dana ta run ta dim ta da jum ta num ta rum ta ka dim ta gira 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 ta dim ta gira gira ta jum dim da ta jum nam da ta jum tam ta kita dana ta da gira gira dim ta gira gira ta jum dim da ta kita jum da kita da jum ta jum da kita ta jum gira gira ta
Kirda ka junuta dim ta kirda ka junuta dim ta kirda ka junuta dum ta na 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 dhum ta na 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 dhum agappa dum ta na na de na 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 dhum agasa ragda dum da da di ra na 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 da da dum da da dum da na na de na 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 dum kirda na di ra na gama gama maga ba ba maga zani sa kirda na di ra na gama gama maga ba ba maga zani sa kirda na di ra na gama gama maga ba ba maga zani sa come on now follow my lead come on now follow my lead why niri baba ba kare sani why pani sa sa pani sa sa why kare ni sa ba kare sa ni da ba why takar kat sani da ba mani ba magari sani now follow my lead
breathtaking. Let's give it up for the dancers. The performance asked you to feel deeply, and our next speaker is going to ask you to think deeply. And trust us, you're going to want to stay glued to him.
Up next, we have Aditya Chari ji, artist, illustrator and art mentor.
Graduating from the prestigious Sir J.J. Institute of Art, Sir has contributed to caricature concepts such as Bahubali and several other major Indian productions.
He's the author of the book Figure Study Made Easy, now in its 5th edition, and has also been published in France. Sir continues to inspire the young generation of storytellers through his Aditya Chari Art Academy. Sir, the stage is all yours.
What am I doing here on the red carpet? Why am I here? There were such a nice speakers here, and I was just thinking, what will I speak in front of them? But definitely I'm here to pass it on some message to you and sharing you some experience. So as you know that the great leaders, great personalities, they have some past. I'm still on the way. I'm not saying I'm the great leader. But to come to this stage, it took me 50 years. And how it started, I just wanted to share a small story. Obviously, behind every success, behind whatever you are today, sitting here, all the kids, there is someone's contribution. There's someone's sacrifice. There's someone's efforts. And we cannot ignore that part. So I just thought I will share a small story here. It was days during my school time, I was very bad in studies, very, very bad. In fact, I hardly used to score something where I can just jump to the another level, another class, another grade. And my mother and my sister used to take care of all the studies. In fact, my sister used to, every evening, she used to go in my class, and from my fellow friends, she used to get the homeworks, notebooks, and she used to fill in the notebooks, in my notebooks. And my father, we had a very small house, hardly one-room kitchen. Okay? And my father used to travel kilometers for the job. He used to change 3-4 buses. Okay? Imagine that time, there was no trains. So he used to travel by bus. He used to change 3-4 buses. But he had a vision. He had a vision that he is going to make his son a great artist. Now see what efforts he has taken to save that penny, some rupees, so that he can buy some books, good books for me. He used to skip 2 buses, he used to walk kilometers every day. Every day he used to walk for kilometers. And he used to save 5 rupees, 2 rupees, 3 rupees. And after a month, he used to get some good books so that I can study. He used to collect. He used to ask me to please start seeing the books, start copying from the books, start studying from these art books. But I just ignored. I thought this is the time I should play. Why should I study? One day, there was an awakening. There was an awakening where I felt I'm doing wrong? How can I ignore the efforts and hardship what my family is taking for me? They never complained why you're not studying the drawing books or why you're not studying the education and everything, why not taking seriously. But I realized and I awakened, and then I started thinking that I am going somewhere wrong. And then I started studying these books. I started taking seriously and referring from the books. I started more and more putting my efforts, giving more time to it. So initially, how it started, after my school days, I used to come back and I used to spend 3 hours studying from the drawing books. And later on, you won't believe, I used to spend almost 16 hours, whole day from morning to night when there was a holidays. And that's how it began, and I started taking it more and more seriously. I just wanted to convey one message here. Life has its own speed. It will never stop. But at some point, you have to sit and think whether you are doing justice to yourself, to your family. And think about it, sit quietly, and just understand what you're doing and what you want to do further. And start your day from today itself. So my father had a vision. So according to his vision, I started, studying, and I moved further. And later I thought, what is my purpose of my life? Is it just to become an artist? Or what else? I mean, there has to be something beyond just being an artist. Then I found out that my purpose is to give the other person a meaningful life, where I can teach, I can see the upcoming students who can have the same level of education what the abroad students are getting from the best universities. In India, I'm sorry to say, but in India, the fine arts and art colleges are not as great as how they are in abroad. So I decided to study more, and as per that, I started, getting more and more information from the internet, from the books, and more I spent time on my studying the drawings and fundamentals. After a certain time, when I came to the academics, I saw that my teachers and my seniors, they used to humiliate, they used to reject, teachers used to reject my works, but still, I used to feel this is not going to make me demotivate. In fact, this is going to make me more motivate. It was some kind of fire which was building inside me. That fire made me more and more work hard. See here, I have seen many of you youngsters when they come to me, they say, "Sir, we really get demotivated when someone criticizes." I want to say, criticism is like a sculptor hitting a hammer on a rock. You know how the sculpture is built, right? A sculptor hits the rock 1,000 times, then it starts taking a shape and a magnificent sculpture is built. So criticism is the same thing, where the sculptor is hitting on the rock and it hits for several times. The criticism is just like it hits on you several times to shape yourself. So do not let that criticism make you demotivate. And obviously, fear is something where you are always being like fear is kind of like a friend to you, which will always guide you. Like if you're going somewhere wrong, or if something is how the other person is working, it will give you the alert, it will give you some kind of intimation that this is where you're going wrong, so you have to correct yourself. Vision, what my father has decided for me, it was just to make me a good artist. But later on, I took that vision as a sailing boat, and I built on top of that same sailing boat, and I made up like a cruise, because I need to sell it in a sea now. To sell a sea, that means now I am going to be in the industry. And you know how the industry works. There is no mercy. They will screw you outside. So you have to be prepared for that high level of, the ocean layers. And after going to that visions, the first thing which I found the best of my project is Bahubali. So I entered in the sea, where now I'm dealing with big directors. To deal with such people, you need that kind of capacity. Because they are not going to give you a single chance, one more chance, sorry. It's just a one chance. If you are not able to give your best output, you're out. To imagine, to coming to that level, how much that artist, that person must have trained with the best skills, with the best, information, knowledge, so that he can match with the wavelength of the legendary directors. The point here to tell you is, you are being, as just now the doctor said, that you should be yourself truly, and you have to give a justice to yourself. That whatever you're doing is 100% truthful to you, and this is what is going to carry forward throughout your life. The journey continued. So as you can see, there is all the designing which is done in the Bahubali for the costumes. Like the main character, leading characters were done by me. Then I worked for some of the different movies also. I think this is the Tamilian web series which I worked, where I did some creature designs in this one. So during this period, I also got to know that how these directors think. And being in such a legendary people, but still they are very humble. They are truly very humble, and they respect the person. To tell you this is, even though you go to at any level of your career point, do not disrespect the juniors. Please keep in mind that you are just sitting on that position doesn't mean that you are going to dominate someone, you're going to criticize someone, or you're going to humiliate someone. Keep your surrounding, your fellow workers also, the same kind of respect. Because whatever the respect you will give to them, they'll give back the same thing to you. So these are the movies where I got to work, I got a chance to work with as I said, the big directors. There are several going to come. Ramayana is going to come very soon, and Karna is going to come, and Karna is where the Hrithik Roshan is going to act in it. I worked in several industries. I worked for ad agencies, I worked for the TV commercials, ad films, and I worked for comics. I was very fortunate to work with the great director like Shekhar Kapoor also. So as you can see, these are the works which are already been either released or some of them are going to publish very soon. Now here, during my journey, I did 3 of the books. The reason behind making the books is basically I wanted to keep my name in this world even after when I'm not there. It is important for you to understand this. You have come to this world for some reason. And that reason you have to find out. And the day you will find out the reason, trust me, your journey will become more smoother, or maybe it might be harder also. But stick to it, because universe will definitely support you. I'm not joking, it has happened with me. When I was working on certain projects and I was finding it difficult, but somehow, somewhere, some kind of support came to me and the journey became more smoother. So these are the books which are published in India. They are very famous throughout. And this one, because this was already this was already famous in India, so one of the French buyer bought this and now it is published in France. Now, this book is purely on human anatomy. As I said, I wanted to give something to this world, to the young generation, and I started working on it to give them a same kind of education through the books, because I know in the colleges, somewhere I feel the lack of knowledge is still there. As you can see here, these are some well-known personality portraits. I have done several, almost like 4,000 commission portraits I have done. And these are all actually given to them, most of the personality. This is like something which is from my portfolio work. This was given to him, a Bahrain Sheikh. This was being done for the Sonia Gandhi's autobiography book. So it is, like as you can see here, there are a variety of works are there. See, art is vast. It is up to you, like what exactly likes, what is your particular liking. You have to decide. But for me, it was like the design. So I wanted to learn everything. Usually, artist is not a good speaker. Artist speaks with his art. In fact, when one of your fellow, he called me and he said, "Sir, you're going to come for the TED talk." I said, "Me and for TED talk?" I said, "What will I talk over there?" But later I thought, why not? Because among you, there are a lot of artists sitting here. I saw the amazing works which you have done. Trust me, hats off to you. The way you guys are working and whatever it is exhibited in your corridors, lovely works. In fact, I would like to meet them later on after this event. So as you can see, I just gathered some works just to show you the portfolio works. There are plenty of works there, but I just got some of them. So this is basically just the comparison where this one side you can see a traditional drawing, one side which is digitally colored. Though today there is a AI is there, but trust me guys, even in the real art industry, they love to see the handwork. Okay, so please, the artists, whoever is sitting here, please don't get into too much AI. Your handwork is really so valuable. These are some of the creations. I'll tell you about something when I work something for myself, especially. Usually when I work for the client, I need to work according to the requirement. When I work something for myself, it has happened to me many times that when after the creation, I do get surprised. I do get surprised because I feel this is not done by me. I can't make such kind of a creation. It is because the universe is somewhere getting his requirements done through you. You are just a source. Trust me, you are just a source. He wants that his creation or his beauty to be passed on through you. You are the channel. Like if someone here, the writer ma'am is sitting here. In fact, I will say, whatever the ma'am is writing, I will say the God himself wants to come through her and let's spread the information to the people. You should believe in that. And you will really come to know it is a fact. And this is what is going to live forever. This is what the information going to live forever after you. And you have to mark this thing before you leave this world. So as you can see, there's plenty works are there. How much will I show you? But I'll just go a little fast. Even this was given to him during when he was CM of Gujarat. Art is something which I feel we are gifted. We are gifted from the God, not just this art form. It can be dance, it can be singing, it can be writing. And whoever here sitting who has this skills, you have to spread it. You can't just keep it with yourself. At any form, you have to spread it, you have to pass it on. At the end, I would say, please do not pray for the easy life, because this is what always I have seen many of the youngsters, they always say, sir, I can't do hard work, or I can't push myself further. The moment you feel that this is what your limit is, like when you're working for 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever, you feel that this is what my limit is, I cannot go beyond that point. That should be your beginning. And when you cross that limit, when you cross that boundaries, trust me, you will see the miracles happening through your hand. This is what I have experienced in my life. And obviously, this is what I'm going to speak even after you. At the end, again, I will say the same message that every person should think that his life is important for someone, and you have to give you have to give the same kind of a meaningful life to the other person, and that will be the great contribution you will give to this world. So all the best to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya sir. You've reminded us today that art isn't just about what we create, but it's how we see the world and how we invite others to see it too. We're truly grateful for your time, passion, and the brushstrokes of creativity that you've left with us today.
Now, we have an individual who's the epitome of courage, resilience, and determination. When life tested her with a stroke in 2021, she did not let that moment determine her story's end. Rather, she rose to great heights. In doing so, she rose to great heights by climbing the world's highest freestanding mountain, Mount Kilimanjaro. In doing so, she did not set one, but two Guinness World Records for the fastest ascent and descent in a category.
Beyond these phenomenal feats, Mrs. Jayshri represents the power of the human spirit to rebuild, to redefine, and to rise. A mother, an entrepreneur, and a mentor to countless different people, her journey is a reminder that limits are often only the beginning of what is possible, that greatness lies beyond limitations. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our final speaker, Mrs. Jayshri Mohan.
Hello? Yeah. The rhythm of life is never the same, and I learned this the hardest way. I'm going to start with the lobster story. The lobster is a very fascinating creature. What we see outside is a very sturdy and a strong structure, but that lobster is not about that. Inside, it's a very sensitive, soft creature. It's that hard shell that protects it from everything around it, the ocean, the predator, the danger. But there comes a problem. The shell doesn't fit the lobster for a long time. It doesn't grow with the lobster. So when the lobster grows, the shell doesn't grow with it. At every stage, the lobster has to make a choice. The choice here is if it's going to stay safe within the well-known shell, which felt safe for it, or lose its shell and regrow it. But what fascinates us is the lobster chooses discomfort. At every stage of growth, the lobster loses its old shell and grows it all over again. Life puts us in a circumstance like that at every stage that we can think of. At that point, we all have to think if we are going to be comfortable in the shell that we already are comfortable and know, or are we going to lose that shell, face the open world, face vulnerability, and grow the shell back again. On one fine day, right after a weekend getaway, I'm with my kids and my grandmother on a road trip back to my hometown. So on that road trip, I suddenly become breathless. One side of my body, is completely numb. And after some time, I feel that my lip is being pulled towards my left ear unnaturally. Fear is just getting the best of me, and I have no clue what's happening to me. I try doing a lot of things like pulling the car, drinking some water. Nothing's helping. But that point is when I realized something was really off. Here I'm in the car with old people and children. There's no help, and fear has gotten the best of me. So I pick up my phone and call my doctor to figure out what exactly is going on with me. That's when he says, please get to the nearest medical help. The nearest medical help was miles away, was hours away. I was just middle of nowhere. So the fear got the best of me. That was when I decided to go beyond the first thought of fear. I held myself together and got myself to the nearest hospital as soon as possible. That was when it was declared that I had a stroke. By the time I got to the hospital, my entire left side was paralyzed. But luckily, I got to the hospital within the golden hour that everything could be reversed, not to the older version, but to some extent. We can work on my body, is what my doctor tells me. From that moment, from the very moment I had my stroke, everything in my life changed. Things that we do on our day-to-day basis, things that we take for granted, like walking, reading a book, holding things, lifting objects without dropping, all of that needed extra effort. All of that demanded more energy. All of that needed planning. And I could not recognize the version that was right there that day. I had lost myself. I couldn't connect with the version that was there. And acceptance was something that I couldn't even imagine. That was the moment when I had to, again, go beyond my first thought, beyond my comfort zone. So what happened after that non-acceptance, many months of rehabilitation had to go in. And rehabilitation is painfully long and boring. After many months of painfully long, boring rehabilitation, there is one day when I have a conversation with my doctor. That's the day when he asks me, what do you want to do in life? We usually get this question when we choose our subject in school, when we want to decide what career we want to settle down for. But I am here in my midlife, and I'm getting this question. But this question had another hidden question inside this. My doctor was actually asking me, what is the life that you're ready to settle down for? He's asking me to choose something that will help me in the healing process, that will be less stressful, and it will help my body. But I was not in any mind state to accept the version that was there that day. So I take few days, and I come back to him with a very dramatic answer. I still remember that day like today. The day when I had my answer, I walk into his clinic, use the whiteboard that was right behind him, go there, take my marker, and write mountaineering in bold words, bold letters. He was in a state of shock. The reason? He knows that I have not even done one trek in my life so far. And here I'm thinking about mountaineering. So I tell him, you are asking me to keep my goal in life as survival, but I'm not ready for that. I want to go beyond survival. Life is not just about surviving. There's a lot of difference between surviving and living, and I want to live. So I somehow convince him, and I tell him the first trek that I want to do is to the Everest Base Camp. So after a few days of discussion, blood work and all of that, all of the reports come back, and none of it is on my side. The day when I'm talking about trekking to Everest Base Camp, I'm not able to even walk with balance, let alone climb the mountain. I'm not able to hold my breath for 15 seconds continuously, let alone climb mountains. I'm not able to hold my breath for a minute. That was the basic test that he had for me. But I told him, I'm not able to accept this version that's there today. I want to shed out this old shell and grow a new version. And for that, I need a goal as big as the mountain to get me there, because acceptance is not coming easily for me. We agree, and I set out on this climb. It's a 9-day climb, up and down. So every day, I'm slowly gaining altitude. It's getting difficult. I'm feeling breathless. I'm cursing myself every step. I'm even thinking why I put myself in such a situation when my body is not even ready to do it. But somewhere I had this conviction that I'm working towards losing the self that I'm not able to connect and trying to get out of that shell and grow a new version that I can live with. So I keep climbing, climbing, climbing. On the 8th day night was a very eventful night. On the mountains, you don't get signal everywhere. If you get, there are only few pockets that you get and you can connect. Luckily, on the 8th day night, I had signal. On the 8th day night, I felt extremely breathless. This took me back to the day when I had my stroke first. I was extremely breathless. I needed airlifting. And on mountains, you cannot get airlifted just like anytime that you want to. It's not like calling your Ola or Uber to pick you up. You gotta wait how many ever hours that takes to get airlifted. So airlifting was not an option that I had. And somehow that day I could connect on the phone with my doctor, and I survived that night. The next day morning, I was facing the fear that I first faced, and everything comes back. I'm so scared and I'm so helpless. There is nobody near me. The nearest help is 400, 500 meters away, and it's extremely cold. I'm not able to move. I'm breathless here. I cross the night, and early in the morning, I make a decision. I'm going to take, like the very first time, I'm going to take the very next step, the first baby step, and I'm going to see what's going to happen. So I keep taking every small baby step towards my goal, which is the base camp. And luckily, that was the moment when I found myself at the base camp. I felt really strong. I broke down to cry. That was the moment when I got myself back. I was not feeling breathless. I was not feeling lost. Rather, I felt strong. Looks like I have been holding myself too strong for so long that I didn't know what version I was carrying about myself. At that moment at the base camp is where I found myself back. And that was when I was ready to lose my old shell and become the new version that life demanded of me. Here in the room, all of you are the right audience that I'm looking at. You're looking at life as if it's a straight line. You're thinking, today it's good marks, next it's going to be good career, next it's going to be settled life. But life hardly goes in a straight line. There will be days when your rhythm will be off. When it will make you think, is my life falling apart? No. When your rhythm of life changes, you just have to understand that life demands you to shed off your old shell, shed off the version that you know of yourself, and grow to suit that circumstance. That was the moment when you actually grow from discomfort to a better place in life. Beyond all discomfort lies infinite possibility. We just are too scared and held back to think what's going to happen, what's going to happen. All of our first thoughts come up when we think, what will happen next? Will I lose myself? There is nothing more for you to lose within yourself. There's nothing more in life for you to lose. The minute you think about it that way, growth starts happening. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That talk truly stands as a reminder to push beyond that first thought of defeat and rise towards greatness. You've truly shown us that the art of thinking beyond doesn't end in our mind, but rather begins there where it blossoms into action. We're truly moved by your journey, and we thank you for sharing it with us.
And with that explosive speech, we now draw curtains to TEDxCIRS 2026. Today, we journeyed not just through thoughts, but through ourselves. Every speaker introduced to us new ideas and new questions. Questions that take us far beyond our first thoughts and drop us right into the cradle of innovation.
It is our strongest belief that your ideas, the questions that they birth, the curiosity that they inspire, and the thoughts they ignited that have led to a foundation that creates a journey far beyond this day. But before we think far ahead into the future, we must thank the people who have made the present and this event possible with their enduring support, patience, and love.
First and foremost, our gratitude extends out to Swami Anukulanandaji and Madam Shanti Krishnamurthy, our directors, and our very own principal, Madam Rajeshwari. No, our Didi, we are truly blessed to have your support, compassion, and motherly affection, which has always guided us down our path.
A heartfelt and indebted gratitude also goes to the head of the school and IB organizer, Ganesh sir, and along with the IB coordinator, Mr. Satish. Thank you, sir. Both of you have been invaluable support systems since the very ideation of this event. Thank you, Ganesh sir. Thank you, Satish sir.
Next, our co-organizer, Suvarna ma'am, for always sticking by our side despite all the mishaps, malfunctions, and mischief. We truly thank you from the bottom of our hearts, ma'am. This event would have been impossible without you.
Our production head, Arun sir, the tech genie. His praise and critique, however harsh, made this event infinitely better, and we definitely couldn't have done it without your guidance, sir.
We would like to thank the admin department headed by Sukumaran sir. Our special thanks goes to Karunakaran sir, Anand Kumar sir, Talar ma'am, Venkatesh sir, Soundarajan sir, and the entire travel desk for supporting us throughout and tolerating all our last minute requests.
Our program would not have been as lively as it were if not for the help provided by the music and dance department and also the art department. Our gratitude to Shinal sir along with the Sedoxo team for providing the catering throughout our event. We would also like to thank all our RHPs, RHMs and the wardens for their love and support. And to all other teachers who we may have missed out on, a huge thank you.
And finally, we would like to thank our speakers for taking us through this journey and making us realize what it actually means to go beyond the first thought.
Aditya Chari sir,
Usha Rajagopalan ma'am,
Dr. Nitan Meta,
Jayshri Mohan ma'am,
Kota Shiva sir,
and Dr. Somu Shivabalan sir.
Thank you, speakers.
Your words, your thoughts, and your ideas have turned the ember that TEDx once was into a blazing inferno. You have filled our hearts with immense gratitude and our minds with a million ideas.
As a token of our collective appreciation, we would like to present you with our tokens of gratitude. We request our dear Madam Principal Rajeshwari and Head of School IB Ganesh sir to please present the mementos to the speakers.
First up, we invite Usha Rajagopalan ji. Thanking you once again, ma'am, for sharing your beautifully inspiring journey, traversing through your literary world, as well as your passion for conservation with all of us. Next up, Kota Shiva ji, for provoking a truly relevant and relatable thought, which most of us don't realize to acknowledge. Your speech has really moved us to be more reflective and conscious about ourselves and our reactions. Thank you, sir. Moving on, Dr. Somu Shivabalan. Our heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for sharing your journey and insights and igniting a spark within all of us. Your insights on teaching from your profession and life are truly valuable to us in this time of our lives. Now, inviting Dr. Nitan Meta. Thank you so much for your beautiful perspective and the powerful idea of knowing that you are enough for yourself, sir. Thank you so much. Following through, we invite Aditya Chari ji. Sir, your vision, your inspiration, and your pursuit of purpose were truly inspiring. Your artworks left us all speechless, sir. Thank you for sharing your time and your insights with all of us today. Last but definitely not the least, Jayshri Mohan ji. Thank you for showing us how the rhythm of life is never the same through your truly inspirational story. Your indifference and undaunkedness in the face of death and danger are truly remarkable and aspirational. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And last, but definitely not the least, we thank you, our audience. Your enthusiasm, applause, and attention has made this journey all the more simple.
Thank you for lending us your years and your time. We hope you leave with broadened perspectives, clear assumptions, and most importantly, a potent mind where countless ideas can take birth.
And with that, this is TEDxCIRS Youth 2026 signing off.